My preparation for this Olympic Games has been different, but it's been very hard this year. But we're getting ready to do what we need to do. We had an indoor season this year, so we're running on the short track. My coach wanted us to be kind of in competition mode a little bit earlier. And then we started transitioning into our 400 hurdle. But we were also doing like some 400s just to keep my speed up so that we weren't just always hurdling all the time. Yeah, preparation, the 400 hurdles is not an easy event. Like the training for it, we train like 800-meter runners. So we're always doing like long endurance things, building strength all the time. But it's been good nonetheless. Very, very hard, but very rewarding at the end of the day.
What do you hope to achieve at these Olympic Games?
Well, we definitely hope to better our mark from my first Olympics. But we also are fighting for the medal, for the gold medal. That's always, a goal, and that's what we're trying to do. Make it to the final and get a gold medal for Panama.
Talking about challenges, what challenge do you have to overcome to qualify to your first Olympics?
Well, the challenge initially was the qualifying mark was faster than I had ever ran at the time. So I needed to run a personal best in order to make the Olympic team. And the way how my season was going, it was going like in a way that was really like, okay, I started off my first competition, I won at the Drake relays, and my time just kept getting better and like lower and lower. And I'm like, okay, this is looking really like, it was initially just like, I have no idea how we're going to do it, but my coach was like, we're going to do it. Like, don't worry about it. Like, we've been training very hard for this. You need a coach like that who can believe in you when you don't believe in yourself, because he saw it before I did. And so I'm like, are you sure? Like, I just was questioning, but I'm like, okay, if he believes it, I trust you. And then we did exactly what we needed to do. We qualified because it wasn't easy. Like I said, I had to run a personal best, but the way how my season was going, I just kept running personal best after personal best after personal best. And then honestly, making the Olympic team, that was the best. I had never, when I was in college, even when I was in high school, like running at the state track meets, I had never won anything. I never even made a final at college. I never made a national NCAA final. So like me qualifying for the Olympics was like the biggest thing ever, because like I'm still running, and a lot of the people who I ran against in like high school and college are not running anymore.
So far, what has been your greatest successful as a sporting level, not counting the qualifying?
I would say last year at Pan-American Games when I won my first global medal, and it was big for me. I have not won a global title ever, so that was my first one ever. And so I was like it was just a great feeling, like all the hard work that happened in all the years, all the seasons, it just was a great feeling, and it was relief, like wow, okay. And like when you get on the podium, it's like wow, you love being up there, and it's like you're supposed to be up there, so it gives you more inspiration and motivation to continue to be on top of the podium. So yeah.
What do you think Panama is missing so that more athletes can have more opportunities?
I think a lot of things are missing, but I would say to start off with, like resources for the athletes, like which is training locations, having physical tracks to train at. So I just was in Panama last week, and I was in Colón because that's where my mom is from. And I went to a track in Colón, and it was not a good track, not a very good track. It was very, it needed to be redone. You couldn't be on the track past 6 p.m. because the lights didn't work. There was fake grass on the middle, but somehow the grass had grown to lane 1 and lane 2. So like you couldn't even run on the inside of the lanes. A lot of fast athletes come from Colón, and even just in Panama in general, like there's so much talent in Panama, but no one is taking the time to show them that we care enough for them, that like, because I don't want to be the only Panamanian track runner out there. We have so many we have so many kids, so many youth who are able to do that. So I would say financially, and then like being able to have the right coaches too, who can kind of just like coach the kids and just kind of like be there for the kids on the track and off the track as well. Because like what happens outside at the home is very important too, to what, like if you can't eat, if you don't have any shoes, if you don't like have certain family who can support you, you know, you don't know what your potential is if people don't believe in you.
What do you expect from the representation of Latin America athletes in these Olympic Games?
Oh, I expect it to be phenomenal, like across the board, not even 400 hurdles, but like definitely 400 hurdles with my representation in the 400, with Paulino, like Marty Lady, like she's going to be doing great in the 400. And we have a gymnast, like we have a boxer, like we have a cyclist. Like I think the variety that we have, I think it's going to be really good. And I think everyone is going to play really, really well.
What are you most passionate about in your discipline?
You know, I'm most passionate about being able to compete because training for it is so hard. And it's like, okay, when I get to competition, I only have to do one lap. So I only have to focus on like one thing. But I love hurdling. Hurdling is like my most favorite. Obviously, it's my favorite event. But I love the fact that I can run and jump over something at the same time. Like it keeps me focused in the race because the open 400 is not an easy race. So I think the 400 hurdles is easier than the 400. But yeah, so I would say I'm most passionate about hurdling and being able to overcome the obstacles in the race to get to the finish line.
If you could change any role, what would it be?
I would say to space out the hurdles a little bit more because that 10th hurdle, it's so far away from the finish line. I feel like, especially when you're at that point, you're like, oh my gosh, 60 more meters to go. It seems so far. It seems so far.
Yeah.
So I would say just spacing out everything, maybe like 5 or 10 meters more so that the 10th hurdle could be like 30 meters or 40 meters away from the line. Nothing very big because I think everything is pretty perfect in the race. It's going to be hard regardless. So there's nothing that can make the race easier.
The last question is, what sport do you most enjoy watching as a spectator at the Olympic Games?
You know, this will be my first Olympic Games where I'll be able to actually go and watch some of the other sports because the last one in Tokyo, you weren't able to. I would love to watch gymnastics and boxing.